Welcome to the first episode of Basketball in Northway, the podcast where we bring to you the latest and greatest updates on the Canadian basketball scene, and we detail the best Canadian basketball prospects. Our mission here is to identify and track the best Canadian prospects, and we just want to keep college programs, NCAA programs, um, and pro scouts up to date with who the best Canadian prospects are. And if you don't know, my name is Keon Mears. I'm a Canadian basketball scout for the Northway. Just to give you a little background on myself, I'm a former student athlete. I grew up playing basketball in the Greater Toronto area. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to play basketball out in Boston and be a part of the NEPSAC conference, where I competed against a lot of elite competition such as Michael Carter-Williams, Nerlens Noel, George Niang, Wayne Seldom, even Nick Stauskas, one of my high school teammates, was out there as well. So just getting that experience did a lot for me, just understanding what it took to be elite and to be amongst those type of players. And then I went on to play college basketball. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to qualify for my scholarship, so I ended up playing college ball in Canada, where we did quite well. And I learned a lot in my short career, unfortunately due to injuries, but I wouldn't change it for anything. Just the experiences, the network, the people I've met, the things I've learned has helped me become the person I am today. And I think it's given me a great understanding of identifying and tracking talent. And it'll definitely, to me at least, play a role and how effectively I can do my job. So enough about me today. I'm going to talk to you about this past weekend where I attended the Advantage Showcase out in Scarborough, which is a suburb city, rather, in the Greater Toronto area, where a number of highly ranked teams participated in this long weekend showcase. There was one program from the States called Canyon International Academy. They have a lot of great prospects, as well as Fort Erie, who's known for Leonard Miller. There was also programs like V3 Prep, Jay Addison, Code Academy. And, they're all great programs. There are a lot of great prospects this weekend. And I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of what I saw. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to cover Jay Addison. I got to that game quite late due to some obligations. And you know what? Today I'm going to get into a first prospect. So I attended the game this past weekend, as I said, and one of the prospects that stood out to me, his name was Felix Casaro. Felix Casaro is a 6'5" combo guard who attends Fort Erie, which is a school right off the border of Niagara and Buffalo. The thing that stood out to me about him is his size. At his size and with his length, he understands how to use it. A lot of kids in high school, they let the defense dictate what pace they play at. The thing is with him, he was very physical. He commanded his space. He still was able to get his team into offense. He could play out of the post. He has a very versatile skill set. He can get downhill. He can use his size to dominate games if he wants. He also understands how to get to his spots. His jumper is extremely consistent. He has great balance, great form. And it's no surprise that he has a list of schools trying to recruit him this past summer. And to me, I think he's going to be the next one of the next special guards to come out of the program if he continues on his trajectory of development. He currently has offers from Colorado University, Santa Clara, Temple U, Wichita State, Mizzou, and Ole Miss. So if I were a Division I program, I would definitely keep him on my radar, simply because of his size, his versatility. There's so much upside there. He reminds me a lot of Shea before he went to Kentucky and blew up and made a name for himself. He's kind of, getting recognition, but he's not getting that stamp that he deserves. So I wouldn't be surprised if he achieves great things in the next couple of years. Um, Moving on to Canyon International Academy, there was a player by the name of Miles Sadler. He's a 5'10" point guard, um, and he is extremely talented. He is number 49 for Rivals, ranked number 49 for Rivals, and it's to no surprise. And I definitely won't be surprised if you see him rising up the ranks this coming year. The things that really stood out to me with him is his IQ. He has that ability to stamp and take over the game with his IQ. It's a lot like Chris Paul. Miles plays at his own pace. He understands how to lead and run his team. He's extremely competitive. Extremely competitive. You don't have to necessarily tell him to go. You can hear him talking the whole game, getting at other teams. Another great thing about him, he has a very mature skill set. He can shoot the ball with range. He's great getting downhill. He almost always knows where the help is coming from. He's great at getting his teammates involved, and he's great out of pick and roll. He has a skill set that translates to the highest level of basketball. He's a high IQ defender. He can navigate the pick and roll and make reads, great reads, and he shoots the ball with range. So I don't know what else you would want out of that. Do not be surprised if he really, really makes a big jump this summer, this prep season, as they'll be competing in the NIBC. He currently has offers from ASU, CSUN, and Weber State. Another prospect from Canyon International Academy that stood out to me is Jayon Pitt. Jayon Pitt is a 6'7" forward, and he is from Scarborough, Ontario. Jayon's strengths are his size. He is extremely athletic, and another strength of his that stood out to me is his ability to stay even keeled. He never complained. He never wavered, whether they were up or down. And then you combine that with his talent, his athleticism, his physical aspects. Like, he looked like the best prospect on the floor throughout this whole tournament. He has things you can't teach. He reminds me a lot of Kawhi Leonard. He is currently on 247 Sports. I believe he's ranked number 89. He is a great athlete. He is strong. He put on some freakish plays this past weekend, and he currently holds offers from Cal State, Oklahoma State, Oregon, and ASU. He is a major talent. He's a national team participant, and I really think in the next couple of years you could really see him go into the pros. There was another player for Canyon International Academy who stood up to me, going by the name of Jovan Milicevic. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. My apologies if I am. He's a 6'10" forward. He reminds me a lot of Peja Stojakovic. And I'm not just saying that because of his ethnicity or his size, but his shooting stroke is amazing. I feel like he's the best shooter in his class. He has a great touch around the rim. He can shoot it with range, whether it's relocating, whether it's sprinting the floor in transition, catching it in stride and letting it go, or attacking the closeout and pulling up, or getting to his spots, creating space and fading away. He is a great prospect, has a great feel for the game, a high IQ, and he is currently holds offers from New Mexico State, Portland, Fresno, and Oklahoma State. So if you don't have him on your radar, be sure to keep him on your radar. Put him on there. And my apologies, he also has offers from UCLA and Oregon. So also I'm going to talk to you about another prospect from Dynasty Basketball. I apologize if I'm saying his name wrong. His name is Irfan DNA. He's a 7-foot center of French descent. And he is a man-child. He is 15 years old, 7 feet, and he dominates the game with his size. He's not afraid to use his size. Sometimes the refs here penalize him for his size, simply because he's dominating the game with rebounding, blocking shots. He's being mean. He's doing what he needs to do at his size. But so in blocking shots and not dominating the game with his physicality, A lot of kids can't really handle it, even though it's not really a foul and he gets penalized for it. However, the things that stood out about him are his size and motor. He has a great feel for the game. He was facing a lot of double teams this past weekend, and he showed his ability to play out of the post, have patience, have poise, get to his jump hook, um, make quick reads out of double teams, and find guys on the weak side and cause and get a wide open three or cause that extra hockey assist and cause multiple rotations. The defense to make multiple rotations. So with his great touch around the rim and his great touch from the free throw line with his great shooting mechanics, I believe he is a great prospect and one of the best to come out of Canada in a while. We haven't seen a big like this in a while at his size, dominating. I could be wrong, but maybe the last guy is Jamal McGlure to actually be a legit, true big, non-stretch forward. Um, he currently holds offers from VCU, Cincinnati, Temple, and Utah State. These are guys we will definitely be keeping close eyes on as these players continue to develop and make their name in the basketball world. So now for our next segment, where we're going to talk about hidden gems that stood out to me this weekend. So these are some of the guys who might not be getting coverage, who maybe they're getting a little bit of coverage and they're emerging and budding with their development. So the first guy I'd like to talk to you guys about is from Dynasty Basketball again, out of Montreal. There's a 5'10" point guard, class of 2026, named Khalil Sutton-White. He reminds me a lot of DJ Augustine. He is extremely shifty. He is great getting downhill. He can get to his mid-range, his pull-up. He can finish through contact. He has floaters. He can finish around the rim, off two, off one. And he's great at finding his teammates, whether it be off the PNR, transition, or just getting paint touches and drawing and kicking. He is extremely skilled. He's smooth. And he's a floor general and a leader. And he was a big part of their success this past weekend, beating a lot of notable teams. He is the class of 26 point guard, so he has 3 more years of development. In my humble opinion, obviously because we don't have the eyes that Americans have, but if he were in an American system, he would already have offers. He could have offers, but to my knowledge, he doesn't. I am imploring American coaches to make an effort to look at this kid as he continues to fly on the radar for now. And he has 3 more years of development, so there's only a lot of upside from there. Also, I'd like to talk about another forward from Dynasty Basketball. Again, I apologize if I say his name wrong. Garrity Jean. He's a 6'8" forward with the class of 2025. And he really stood out to me this weekend. As far as the eye test go, if we look at him, he's like, okay, well, there's nothing really impressive. But then he starts playing, and you start to see why he's on this team, why he gets the minutes he does, and how he impacts winning. He reminds me a lot of Eric Pascal, who played at Villanova, and Antoine Walker. He is extremely skilled for his size. He's a bigger, stocky forward at 6'8". He can get downhill. He can drive closeouts. He can hit threes. He has a high IQ. He can play make. He's extremely versatile. He has great footwork for his size. So just driving closeouts, creating angles, getting off the dribble and creating angles downhill, and finding guys on the weak side for dump offs, for kickouts, for threes, rebounding the ball. He has a great feel for the game. And as he continues to get in shape, I feel like his skill set will show even more. So again, Garrity Jean is a 6'8" forward from Dynasty Basketball, class of 2025, that you guys need to keep on your radar and just have a look at him and see how he performs in any state showcases. Now, finally, we're going to talk about Fabian Pons from V3 Prep. I believe he's a 6'2", 6'3" point guard. He's long, he's smooth, he's skilled. He plays the game at his own pace. He's very mature. He doesn't get sped up. He's a class of 2024. He can shoot the ball. He can finish around the rim. He's great finding the open man in transition, head man in the ball, and pushing the pace in transition. and he gets a lot of paint touches. Right now, he's flying under the radar, but I believe that he could make an impact at the next level, whether it be Division Two or low Division One. I think some of the times it's just about placement, um, where these kids are, where they're um, getting exposed to certain levels of talent and development. He is a great prospect, a great addition at the next level, and I believe, given the chance and to play against high level competition like he did this weekend, Canyon in the National Academy, he showed how good he could be at the next level. He picks his spots well. He turned up in the last couple quarters to try and at least bring his team back, and he made a name for himself. So Fabian Pomos is a 6'2", 6'3", long, silky smooth point guard that college scouts need to put on their radar. And I believe at his height, he can and with his length and his skill set, he can definitely contribute to winning at the next level. And today, that marks the end of our first episode of the podcast. And yeah, so we hope that you enjoyed this deep dive into a review of this past weekend, if you will. Do not forget to follow us on social media, subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram at Keon Mayers, KayonMayers. I'm also on Twitter and TikTok, or follow us on our main page, the Northway, which is at TheNorthway, with the same logo here. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and just be up to date with our latest reviews of prospects. And you could also subscribe for our weekly scouting report, where we send out a detailed scouting report on one prospect every week. So if you're looking for gems and you're looking for guys you can potentially recruit and bring to your program, subscribe to that weekly email where you get a free detailed scouting report and stay up to date.
It's 8:00.
Things we're doing. So again, we just want to thank you for you guys, watching and tuning in. Have a great week.